Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're diving into something that's, well, it's incredibly powerful, but let's be real, it can also be a bit intimidating. I'm talking about the SAP Materials Management Pricing Procedure. So let's just jump right in and unpack it. So, to get started, let's picture this. Imagine you're running a huge global company. You've got literally thousands of suppliers, right? And every single one of them has their own unique prices, their own special discounts, different shipping terms. It can be a mess. So the big question is, how on earth do you keep all of that straight and make sure it's all accurate and automatic?
Well, that's exactly where the SAP pricing procedure comes in. It's the answer to all that chaos. You can think of it as this incredibly smart engine that takes all that complicated stuff and just makes it work.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we've got to break it down into its core pieces. We're going to treat it like building a puzzle, you know? Start with the foundation, the basic pieces, and build up from there.
And honestly, the best analogy I've found for this is thinking of it like a recipe. It's simple. To get our final dish, or in this case, our final price, we need three key things: a list of all our possible ingredients, a method to find the exact ingredients we need, and finally, a master recipe card that tells us how to mix it all together.
So, let's start with that first part. The most fundamental piece is something called the condition table. In our recipe world, this is our pantry, our big list of potential ingredients. It's basically a table that combines different fields, things like who the vendor is, which plant we're buying for, that kind of stuff. It sets up the specific situation where a unique price would apply.
Okay, next up is the access sequence. This is our method for finding the right ingredients. It's the search strategy. It literally tells SAP, hey, when you're looking for a price, start here. Look for a price that matches this specific vendor at this specific plant. And if it can't find that, okay, then broaden your search. Just look for a price for this plant in general. It's the system's step-by-step guide to finding the most specific price it can.
And that brings us to the third piece, condition types. These are the actual ingredients themselves. Is it the main price, the gross price? Is it a 10% discount, or maybe a flat fee for shipping? Each one of those little pricing elements is its own condition type.
All right, enough with the theory, right? Let's actually get our hands dirty and start building this thing. We're going to kick things off by configuring the first part of our recipe, that search strategy we were just talking about.
It's actually pretty straightforward. We're just going to do it in 3 quick steps. 1. Create the condition table. 2. Define the access sequence. And 3. Hook them up together. Simple as that.
And here you can see exactly how that looks in the system. Up top, we're creating our new access sequence. We're calling it T020. Then you see down below, we're assigning our condition table, which is 917, right to it. And just like that, with one little step, those two pieces are now connected.
Now, this is the cool part. This is where SAP does the heavy lifting for us. The second we make that link, boom, the system automatically pulls in all the fields from our table. You see them there: company code, plant, vendor. Our search strategy now knows exactly what to look for, and we didn't have to type any of it in manually. So let's just do a quick visual recap here. We've got our ingredients list, the condition table, and it's now officially connected to our search method, the access sequence. The foundation of our pricing recipe is set.
Okay, foundation's in place. Let's keep this momentum going. We've built the search method, but it doesn't really know what it's supposed to be searching for yet. So now we need to define the actual ingredients, the specific price elements.
For our little recipe here, we're going to create 3 main ingredients, or as SAP calls them, condition types. We'll have T022 for the gross price, T021 for a freight charge, and T023 for a percentage-based discount.
Now pay attention, because this next step is so important. For every single ingredient we create, and you can see our gross price on the left and the discount on the right, we have to assign that access sequence T020 that we just made. This is the crucial link. This is us telling SAP, hey, when you need to figure out the gross price, use this exact search strategy to find it, and connects the what to the how.
Okay, so here's where we are. We've got all our individual pieces ready to go. We have our search strategy, we have our ingredients. Now it's time for the fun part. We get to assemble it all into our master recipe, the pricing procedure itself.
And this diagram really ties it all together, doesn't it? You can see the whole flow. The condition table feeds into the access sequence. That sequence gets assigned to our different condition types, our ingredients. And then all of that gets bundled up into the final pricing procedure. And that master recipe is what gets assigned to our vendors. See, everything is connected.
So now that all the back-end logic is built, we can finally plug in the real numbers.
This is where we create what are called condition records. We're basically telling the system, okay, for this specific vendor, at this specific plant, the freight charge is going to be 2%. This is where our abstract recipe finally gets some real-world flavor.
All right, this is it, the moment of truth. We've done all this configuration, all this setup, so what's the big payoff? Let's create a purchase order and see if all our hard work actually paid off.
And there it is. Look at that. We're just creating a normal purchase order, but if you look at that Conditions tab, boom, the system automatically found and applied our gross price and our discount, T022 and T023. The total price is calculated perfectly, instantly, with zero manual work. It just works.
And that, right there, is the real magic of this whole thing. We took what could be a super messy, complicated set of business rules, and we turned it into a clean, logical system. And the result? A perfect, automated, error-free price calculation every single time.
You know, it really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole idea of breaking down a complex problem into its building blocks, tables, sequences, types, it's just so powerful. And it kind of leaves you with one big question. What other crazy complex business processes out there could be totally streamlined using this exact same kind of structured thinking? Something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me today.